Chicago queer historian and author Owen Keehnen's new book, Gay Chicago Memories, 1300 North Wells, chronicles the lost world of the 70s and 80s queer nightlife in Chicago and reminds us of a revolutionary era in gay Chicago. And joining us now is our good friend, Owen Keehnen. Owen, welcome to the show and Happy New Year.
Well, thank you, Scott, and congratulations to you and Ellen on 13 years. That's
bananas, right?
It's hard to believe.
That's amazing.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Years.
We are lucky
Sure,
13, and we're very lucky and fortunate because it gives us the opportunity to meet incredible people like
indeed.
you, my friend.
Well,
Congratulations on the book. It is, as always, where do you find these people? Like, that's my big question.
A lot of times I know quite a few people, so I will connect with people, and then they'll connect me with people, and a lot of it is just getting people to sort of get it back into the memories of the time, and then they remember more, and then other people join in, or they talk about talking to me, and it's very much a community effort.
It's like that. What was that? That
it's
Prel commercial, and they tell two people, and they tell two people, and so on, and so on, and so on. We got bouncing and behaving air.
And that's my marketing plan is Pro.
Fantastic. What I think is, if you talk to people these days, when folks think of the center of the LGBTQ community here in Chicago, they think, of North Halsted, formerly known as Boys Town, but that wasn't always the case. And your book focuses on a small stretch in Old Town. Can you tell our listeners, what was that strip like?
Okay, sure. Well, there were like little pockets of LGBTQ activity all over. So the thing that fascinated me about this is that it's the 1300 block of North Wells. So it's one block, and it's the east side of the street. And it's just like if you took a picture of the street, it would be the Bijou Video Sales at 1363. And then you go down a couple doors, and there's Den 1, which later became Carol's Speakeasy. And then if you go next to that was the Bijou. And then when you go south of that were two adult bookstores. And then when you went south of that was a place called the Glory Hole Tavern. And so it was this huge concentration. And then to the north, just across the intersection, was where Gay Chicago started.
Right. I mean, it's
it's a lot of... The thing that fascinates me is, I saw a drawing of this, of the streetscape, and there's nothing there today to remind you that anything was there.
Yeah.
And so it's always kind of that thing that... I want to, just preserve that things weren't always the way they were. They were very adaptable. They were sort of doing it as it came. And we were just discovering ourselves as community, And that whole journey to me, from being isolated and in fear to coming into community and coming into power, is what that whole generation is about, and just then celebrating the freedoms, and it's just incredible. I love capturing that sort of vibe.
So glad you did and continue to. As a kid that grew up in the Chicago area, we would venture down when we were in high school by train with a destination of going to Wells Street because it was a bastion of counterculture. As a young straight girl, 16, 17, I was obviously looking. My thing was the hippies and the head shops,
Bizarre.
Bizarre, and so many others.
I
And
worked there.
You worked there. Okay, so I probably met you. I bought my first pipe there, but and snuck it home to my suburban home and hid it in a drawer. But
It's
that
a
was
life of service. What can I say?
Thank you.
And I appreciate it. But you obviously did a lot of research. What was the research project like, and what was the most unexpected find that you came across?
Oh my gosh. I think the most shocking and unexpected thing was before I started researching, because I've done, I know kind of have vague ideas of things. Mm-hmm. But when I was researching the Glory Hole Tavern, they had in the back as like an option if you wanted to go like in the courtyard, mm-hmm. back there.
Yeah.
There was an above ground open swimming pool that just everybody to hang out with. They might have, I know. And just sort of, well, it's just crazy. Exactly. It's just inconceivable. And there are so many things that because of, I don't know, I mean, rightfully so, but because of insurance and everything else that you just can never imagine happening in a bar anymore. You're just like, no, what insurance company would cover this
an above ground pool in a bar,
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wong?
What could go wrong?
Alcohol and drugs.
Right? Well, what's so interesting about this particular block, it feels like not only is it a product of gay liberation, but it's but of sexual liberation as well.
Yeah.
You write, pride was power, coming together brought strength, decadence was good, outrageous was in, and the underground was above ground. Mm-hmm. Kind of what Ellen was saying, where you're going for the counterculture vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
and the thing is, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go.
Go.
I was just going to say that the thing is, too, in bars like that, before, Stonewall, everyone was so, and after, everyone was so ruled by fear, mm-hmm. it seemed like, in so many things, that people started coming together and, and they realized that, like, all these myths that you hear about gay life, you go to Carol's Speakeasy, you're going to be, well, the gay life isn't that much of a lonely life, I guess, because the place is packed with people. And lo and behold, they don't seem like degenerates. Like you've heard your whole life. Yeah. And suddenly you find out you have more in common with the people here than a lot of times you do with your own families. It takes bars, I think, at the time because they had so much importance on them. They were community centers. They were activist centers. They were so much. They filled so much more of a role,
Yeah,
so I want to capture that a lot, too.
That was all we had at that time.
Did it make it hard to reconstruct the stories since everybody was so, hidden and underground?
Every time I do this, whenever I do anything when I'm doing bar, and I'm more surprised that people remember, truthfully. I mean, if you ask me, like, do you remember when you went to the closet back in the 80s? I'd be like, yeah.
Vaguely.
I remember mirrors.
There was alcohol involved. So.
But I just, because it's fun because it's like a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
You get little pieces, and all the time you're just trying to make the picture more and more like something you can step into. So some people might remember the sticky floor of a bar. Other people might remember the smell in there, or other people might remember that the bathroom didn't have a lock. There's just all these little pieces that kind of can come together to try to make history as much of like time travel as I can, rather than sort of reporting history.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Because
and a lot of times it's hard to make history seem pertinent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, okay. So then, which leads me to my question. So what is the importance of chronicling this time period, particularly from a nightlife perspective?
Well, one of my main reasons for doing this is because our history is often looked upon as like Stonewall, AIDS, gay marriage today. And it's, as someone who lived through the AIDS era, or the worst of the AIDS era, it irked me to no end that so many people were just being, it was like, 243,000 AIDS deaths, or you know what I mean? And they were just becoming these statistics. And it's like these people were so much more than the way they died, and they were so much more than tragic. They were actually, they were celebrating. Their life was one of celebration. And I think to chronicle the way they live is just maybe a way to compensate for the way they're seen today historically is kind of the way they died, truthfully, and it's horrible.
Yeah, well, but that's why I agree with you. I think that this work is really important because you are actually documenting like real lived experiences by real people. I think younger generations of LGBTQ folks, they don't quite get. I mean, I'm not younger, but I'm a little bit younger, where like, so I didn't quite understand like the whole, like once gay liberation, how like the freedom and the sexual liberation that happened, and the joy and just the thrill of being able to express that openly, must have been.
It was time to party.
Huge. It was time to party, indeed, and then to have this little chunk of Old Town, which now, it's like, okay.
Yeah, barely resembles its old former self. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but most places, even like Lakeview doesn't.
Yeah, everything changes.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
But I think there's something really, really necessary in terms of like letting younger generations of queer folks knowing that, like you said, there was joy, there was spontaneity, these were complicated people living complicated, rich lives, and just celebrating and having a ball.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is like the means for celebration was also the fact of just coming together and be able to do that without fear.
Yeah.
And so the importance of sort of documenting that, because if we don't document our history, you know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to write about it, and then something tells me it's not going to be.
Yes.
Or if they do write, if they're allowed to write about it.
We're glad you're right. We're glad you're writing about it, Owen.
I know, and I just love and it's also like filled with just like amazing stories, and I love little tidbits. Like you were talking about the Glory Hole Saloon, how they weren't even able to get a liquor license because of the name that they had chose until somebody said that it was like the Glory Hole Mines that were in, what was it, California? Is that where it was? I can't remember, but I was just like
Colorado.
Colorado, thank you. That I knew it was a sea state. But it was just having just those little tidbits about even just to give you a snapshot of the prudish or more conservative quality of the city at the time. It's like I don't know. These things are just. I love your books.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
they're just the perfect size for me to read too.
I really want, the thing is too, is a lot of times, younger people, it's sort of, history is boring. And my whole point of view is, then you do not read the right kind of history. Because it's not boring if you read nice stuff.
Girl, you ain't just whistling Dixie right there.
If you could bring,
But, but not only that, but it's hard sometimes, and I get it, if you're younger, and it's really daunting to sort of look when there's a history before you and be like, well, this great thing happened, and then this great thing happened, and then this great thing happened, and see it from kind of a disconnected point of view. But people know all about going out to a bar and having fun with their friends and feeling safe and feeling threatened and knowing what it's like to feel like peace after so long of like, jumping out of your own skin or just being uncomfortable or whatever. It's something that's universal.
Yeah.
And I think that acceptance and finding your tribe is something that every generation needs to do. And I shouldn't say it. I don't know how they need to. I think as LGBTQ people, yes, we need to do. We need to get involved and try to move forward, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's showing people, there's also the celebration and the struggle. I think a lot of younger folks take for that's me speaking broadly, but I think some of them take for granted the rights and the freedoms and openness that they are enjoying
it's
right now.
It's a natural thing.
Like it's a natural, like that wasn't always the case. Like
Right.
you couldn't see into
That's
bar
right.
windows; they were all tinted. Like that was the thing. So I think it's a really, really.
That's why I include. Oh
no, go ahead.
no, go on.
I was just thinking like that's
I
good.
was just going to say that's.
You go. You're the guest.
Okay, thank you. I was just going to say that's why I chronicled sort of the police raids too, and I wanted to get those in detail because can you imagine can you imagine that today? I mean, it's just that it's the things that were done to challenge our power, which was very threatening, was crazy. It was just, we weren't hurting anyone,
Well, I mean, you can draw a line to the immigrants today who aren't hurting anyone, who are going about their business at Home Depot or a construction site or landscaping, who are being ripped away. And so this kind of mentality, of racism and prejudice and bigotry continues. And that's why these struggles have to be documented so we can learn how to continue to fight back and push back. Thank you for...
Oh, yeah, because it's just sort of that ongoing just cruelty for the sake of, you know what I mean? It's that same thing. It's the same beating down to lift yourself up kind of thing.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, folks, if you were looking for a fun, juicy read about a particular look, I was in Chicago just at the tail end of that time period. Like there was still a little glimmer of it going on in the 90s when I was here. And actually, I remember I was doing a show at Northwestern, a David Mamet show called Edmund that goes into the seedier parts of Chicago. And we were instructed by our director to go down to certain bookstores and video places to go. And hello, 1300 North Wells, come on. It was great. So if you would like
you could do like a cross section on the block too. You could get a few different examples for your research.
Right, indeed. But again, if you would like something that's like a very juicy and just a part of Chicago queer history, make sure you pick up Gay Chicago Memories, 1300 North Wall Street. Go to Unabridged Books and get it there.
Yes, right there.
There you go. You can get it wherever your books are sold, but go shop local. Do that. Owen Keehnen, thank you again for keeping our histories and our stories moving forward. And thank you for coming on the show today. It's always a pleasure.
Of course. What a lineup. I was
right?
The show ahead of time, and I was like, wow.
Well, remember, you are a part of that lineup.
Yeah.
So thank you for all that you do and for making history vibrant, alive, and titillating.
Mm-hmm.
How about
that too.
That's my motivator. All right.
Owen
Keehnen,
thank you so much.
Take care.